Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we redialing the clock back to 1883 to witness one of the most insane events in recorded history. Forget what you think you know about volcanoes. We're talking about Krakatoa, a name that literally exploded into the history books. This wasn't just some mountain spewing lava. This was an event that shook the entire planet. So picture this. A small unassuming volcanic island nestled in the Sunda Strait, between the Indonesian islands of Java and Sumatra. For over 200 years, Krakatoa had been pretty quiet. People lived nearby, ships sailed past. It was just part of the scenery. But underneath the surface, something massive was brewing. Think of it like shaking a soda can. For years, immense pressure was building up as the Indo-Australian tectonic plate slid beneath the Eurasian plate. Magma, gases, and water were being forced into a subterranean chamber, creating a geological time bomb. In May of 1883, the first signs of trouble appeared. Ash clouds started puffing out and small tremors were felt. The locals were like, old Krakatoa is waking up. But nobody, and I mean nobody, could have predicted what was coming next. For the next few months, the activity got more and more intense. Sailors reported seeing columns of steam and ash, and the sound of rumbling could be heard for miles. It was the planet clearing its throat before the main event. Then, on August 26th, the real show began. A series of colossal explosions started, each one more powerful than the last. But the climax, the grand finale, happened at 10:02 a.m. on August 27th. Krakatoa didn't just erupt, it annihilated itself. 4 gigantic explosions ripped the island apart. The final blast was the loudest sound ever recorded in human history. Seriously. It was heard over 3,000 miles away in places like Australia and an island off the coast of East Africa. Imagine standing in New York and hearing a sound from San Francisco. That's the scale we're talking about. The sound wave was so powerful it circled the globe multiple times. Barometers, instruments that measure air pressure, went haywire as far away as London and Washington, D.C., registering the pressure spike hours after the explosion. The force of this final blast is almost impossible to wrap your head around. It's estimated to have been about 13,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. It unleashed a column of ash, rock, and gas that shot 50 miles high into the stratosphere, literally punching a hole through our atmosphere. 2/3 of the island of Krakatoa, which had stood there for centuries, was just gone, vanished, obliterated and sunk beneath the sea. But the immediate explosion was only the beginning of the horror. The collapse of the volcano into the ocean displaced a monumental amount of water, triggering a series of cataclysmic tsunamis. These weren't just big waves. They were walls of water, some reaching heights of over 120 feet. That's as tall as a 12-story building. They raced towards the nearby coastlines of Java and Sumatra, swallowing entire villages whole. Over 36,000 people lost their lives, most of them victims of these unstoppable waves. One Dutch warship was picked up by a wave and carried nearly 2 miles inland, dropped in the middle of a forest like a child's toy. The scale of the destruction was absolute. But Krakatoa's impact didn't stop at the shoreline. The fine ash and sulfur dioxide gas that it had rocketed into the stratosphere began to spread around the globe. This massive aerosol cloud acted like a giant sunshade. For the next few years, the entire planet cooled down. Global average temperatures dropped by about 1.2 degrees Celsius. That might not sound like a lot, but it was enough to disrupt weather patterns worldwide, causing crop failures and unusual climate events for years. This global veil of ash also created something unexpectedly beautiful, yet haunting. The particles scattered sunlight in a way that produced the most vivid, spectacular sunsets the world had ever seen. For about 3 years, people from London to New York would stare at the sky as it burned with fiery reds, oranges, and purples. They were so intense that fire departments were often called out because people thought the city was on fire. The famous painting, The Scream by Edvard Munch with its blood-red sky. Many art historians believe he was inspired by the Krakatoa sunsets he witnessed in Norway. It's a powerful reminder of how an event on one side of the world could literally change the color of the sky on the other. Krakatoa wasn't just a destructive force, It was a massive scientific wake-up call. It was one of the first major natural disasters to occur after the invention of the telegraph. News of the eruption and its aftermath spread around the world with unprecedented speed. For the first time, scientists could gather and compare data from different locations in near real time. They studied the pressure waves, the tsunamis, the atmospheric effects, and it led to a huge leap in our understanding of geology, volcanology, and how interconnected our planet's systems are. The term tsunami itself became more widely known in the English-speaking world after this event. So what's happening there now? Nature, as always, finds a way. In 1927, about 44 years after the big one, fishermen noticed something bubbling up from the submerged caldera where Krakatoa once stood. A new volcano was being born from the ashes of the old one. They named it Anak Krakatau, which means child of Krakatoa. For decades, this new island has been growing, erupting periodically, and slowly rebuilding itself. It's a living laboratory, showing us the incredible cycle of destruction and creation in real time. In fact, in 2018, Anak Krakatau had a significant eruption and partial collapse of its own, triggering another deadly tsunami, a stark reminder that the forces that destroyed its parent are still very much alive and active. The story of Krakatoa is more than just a history lesson about a big bang. It's a profound lesson in humility. It shows us that we live on a dynamic, powerful planet with forces that are far beyond our control. It demonstrates how a single event can have a cascading global impact, affecting everything from local populations to the global climate and even art. It highlights the incredible resilience of nature and the constant cyclical process of destruction and rebirth. It's a story written in fire and water, a story that shook the world and continues to echo through time, reminding us of the awesome power simmering just beneath our feet. Thanks so much for hanging out and diving into this incredible story with me today. If you found this as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and definitely subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. Let me know in the comments what other world-changing events you'd like to see covered. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.